You ever ask somebody for something completely reasonable, like not even a big ask, just a basic, common sense, anybody with a brain would agree kind of request, and they look you dead in the face and laugh at you? Not disagree, not push back, not have a conversation about it. Just laugh. Like you're the problem for even asking. Yeah, that happened to me. For months. I begged my roommates to just lock the front door when they left. That's it. Lock the door. They called me stupid. They mocked me. They acted like I was completely losing my mind for wanting basic security in a neighborhood where people's cars were getting broken into every other week. So one evening, when I needed something from their apartment, I walked right in. Their door was unlocked. It always was. And I took exactly what I came for. And y'all, 6 years later, I still have it. Why, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to American Sleep Tales, the channel where the karma is cold, the stories are real, and justice always finds a way. If you are brand new here, oh bro, you picked the right night to show up. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button right now and hit that notification bell, because we upload 2 brand new stories every single day, and you do not want to be sleeping on this channel. Alright y'all, get cozy, kill the lights, and let's get into this one. Because this story, it starts small, but it hits so different by the end. Let's go. Okay, so let me paint the full picture for y'all. Because this story, on the surface, sounds simple. Girl moves in with roommates. Roommates are irresponsible. Girl gets revenge with a potato peeler. But nah, that's not what the story is actually about. This story is about what it feels like to be young, broke, vulnerable, and completely dismissed by the people who are supposed to be your people. It's about what happens when you ask for something reasonable, something basic, and the people around you treat your needs like a joke. And it's about the specific, deeply satisfying feeling of being proven right in the most perfect way possible. So let's go back. Summer of 2020. Our narrator, let's call her Riley, is 20 years old. It's her first time living outside of her parents' house. First taste of real independence. First experience of figuring out how the world works when nobody's there to catch you if you fall. And she is excited, nervous, ready. She moves into an apartment with 2 people she knows from school, Joel and Sadie. Joel is 24, a medical student, comes from a wealthy family. The kind of guy who has never really had to worry about money. Not because he's arrogant about it, but just because financial stress has genuinely never been a real thing in his world. He's not a bad person. He's just insulated, protected from consequences in ways he doesn't fully recognize. Sadie is 23, Joel's best friend. Same energy, casual, laid back, not particularly tuned in to other people's anxieties. She and Joel have been tight for years, and they have a whole established dynamic between them that Riley is very much on the outside of. Riley herself? She and Maggie, her close friend, are both earning well below the poverty line. Every dollar counts. Every purchase is a calculation. Every piece of equipment she owns for work is irreplaceable, not in the emotional sense, but in the very literal, very real sense that if something happens to it, she cannot afford to get another one. Now, the apartment they move into together, it's not in a great area. That's the polite way to say it. The honest way to say it is, it's sketchy. Like, genuinely sketchy. Cops showing up multiple times a week sketchy. People getting stuff stolen out of their cars on the regular sketchy. The kind of neighborhood where you develop habits, you lock your car, you watch your surroundings, you don't leave valuables visible because experience has taught you that you have to. For Joel, this is kind of an adventure. A temporary situation. He's a med student from money. This apartment is a chapter, not a life sentence. For Riley, this is just her life. This is what she can afford. And everything she owns inside that apartment, her laptop especially, represents months of work, months of careful saving, months of making things stretch further than they should have to stretch. Her laptop is not just a laptop. It is her livelihood. And she needs it to be safe. Which is why, from day one, Riley has one very simple, very reasonable, very non-negotiable request. Lock the front door when you leave. That's it. That is the whole ask. Now y'all, I need you to really sit with what I'm about to describe. Because this isn't a one-time thing. This isn't a misunderstanding. This is a pattern. A sustained, repeated, deliberate pattern of dismissal that went on for months. It starts small. Riley comes home one afternoon to find the front door unlocked. Joel and Sadie are both out. The apartment is empty, completely open to anyone who might want to walk in. She mentions it that evening, casual, no drama. "Hey guys, just a reminder, can we make sure we lock up when we leave? My laptop is in there, and I really can't afford to replace it if something happens." Joel shrugs. Sadie waves her hand. Sure. No big deal. Except, it keeps happening. Riley comes home to an unlocked door again. And again. And again. She brings it up a second time. A third time. Each time keeping her voice even, keeping her tone reasonable, framing it as a simple request between people who are supposed to be looking out for each other. And each time the response gets a little worse. The first few times it's dismissal. Just a shrug, just a "we'll try to remember," just a vague non-commitment that they never follow through on. But then it shifts into something uglier. They start laughing at her. Not mean, vicious laughter, but that particular kind of condescending, eye-rolling, "you're being so extra" laughter that is somehow worse. Because it's not even taking her seriously enough to argue. It's just writing her off entirely. "Riley, you're so paranoid. Nobody's gonna break in, relax. You're being so anxious about this. If anything gets stolen, we can just replace it. That last one, y'all. That last one. We can just replace it." Joel, coming from money, surrounded by a safety net that he has never had to question, genuinely cannot compute what it means to own something that you cannot replace. The concept doesn't land for him because it has never been his reality. But for Riley, "we can just replace it" is not a comfort. It's a gut punch, because she cannot just replace it. There is no backup plan. There is no safety net. There is no credit card she can throw it on and figure out later. If her laptop gets stolen, she loses her job. If she loses her job, she can't pay rent. If she can't pay rent, she's in a situation that spirals fast and hard in ways that Joel and Sadie's financial cushions would simply never allow. But they don't get that. Or maybe they do get it and just don't care enough to adjust their behavior. Either way, the door keeps getting left unlocked. And Riley keeps coming home to that hollow, stomach-dropping feeling of walking into an empty apartment and seeing that the latch hasn't caught. That anyone could have walked in. That everything she owns, everything she needs, was sitting there completely unprotected while she was gone. Every single time she feels that, she swallows it, keeps the peace, tells herself it's fine. But it is not fine. And somewhere deep in her chest, something is keeping score. After a few months of this, Riley gets out. She moves into a new apartment in the same complex with her friend Maggie. Same building, different unit, new dynamic. And from day one, Maggie locks the door. Every time, without being asked, without being reminded, without making Riley feel crazy for caring about basic security. It's such a small thing, but after months of fighting for it, it feels enormous. Riley exhales for the first time in what feels like forever. She and Maggie settle into their apartment, settle into their routines, settle into the particular comfort of living with someone who is actually on your wavelength. COVID is in full swing, 2020, remember, and they're being careful, staying home, keeping their bubble small. Joel and Sadie, meanwhile, are not being careful, not even a little. They're out, they're social, they're living like the pandemic is more of an inconvenience than a genuine public health situation. So Riley and Maggie keep a polite distance. They wave in the parking lot. They say hi if they cross paths. But they don't hang out. They don't visit. They keep things cordial, but separate. Life moves on. The tension fades into background noise. Riley almost forgets about the whole unlocked door situation. Almost. And then one ordinary evening she goes to make dinner. It's a regular weeknight. Nothing special about it. Riley's cooking alone in the apartment. Maggie's out, and she's got a recipe going, something that requires peeling. Potatoes, maybe. Doesn't matter what exactly. What matters is she needs the potato peeler. She checks the utensil drawer. Not there. She checks the dish rack. Not there. She checks the back of the drawer, the cabinet, the spot by the stove where random kitchen tools sometimes end up. Not there. Not there. Not there. The potato peeler is just gone. Nowhere. Vanished into the particular mystery dimension where single socks and hair ties and kitchen tools go to disappear. Riley stands in her kitchen, stares at the stove. The water is already boiling. The ingredients are already prepped. She needs this peeler. Joel and Sadie have a potato peeler. She knows this because she's been in their kitchen before, back when they all lived together. She remembers seeing it, knows exactly which drawer it lives in. So Riley makes a decision, a completely normal, reasonable decision. She'll go knock on their door and ask to borrow it. Simple, neighborly, done in 5 minutes. She walks over to their building. Her complex key works on all the buildings, so getting in is no problem. Takes the elevator up to their floor, walks down the hallway to their door. Knocks. Silence. Knocks again. Nothing. They're not home. Riley stands there for a second. Okay, plan B. She'll figure something else out. She turns to leave. And then, something stops her. She doesn't even fully decide to do it. It's more like her hand just moves. Reaches out. Touches the door handle. Turns it. And the door swings open. Of course it does. Of course it does. The apartment is dark. Empty. No Joel. No Sadie. Just an unlocked door swinging open to a completely unoccupied apartment. Exactly like it always was. Exactly like Riley spent months begging them to prevent. Except this time, she's on the other side of it. She stands in the doorway for a moment. The irony is so thick she can almost taste it. These two people, who spent months laughing at her for wanting security, who called her paranoid, who said she was overreacting, who left their door unlocked 100 times without a second thought, are doing it again. Right now. Tonight. Their apartment. Empty. Unlocked. Wide open. Riley takes a breath and walks in. The apartment is quiet in that particular way that empty spaces are quiet, a little heavier than regular silence, like the air is holding its breath. Riley doesn't linger. She doesn't snoop. She doesn't go through their stuff or open doors that aren't the kitchen. She walks directly to the kitchen, opens the utensil drawer, the one she knows, the one she remembers. And there it is, the potato peeler, sitting right there, exactly where she knew it would be. She picks it up, holds it for a second, looks at it. It is the most ordinary object in the world. A $5 kitchen tool. Plastic handle, metal blade, completely unremarkable in every way. Except right now, in this moment, it represents something so much bigger than itself. It represents every time she asked them to lock the door, and they laughed. It represents every time she came home to an unlocked apartment and felt that cold drop in her stomach. It represents every "you're so paranoid" and every "we can just replace it" and every eye roll and every dismissive shrug. It represents months of being told that her concerns didn't matter, that her needs were inconvenient, that she was the problem for even caring. Riley closes her fingers around the potato peeler, turns around, walks out of the apartment, pulls the door shut behind her, not locked because she doesn't have their key, but pulled closed the same way they always left it. Walks back to her own building, goes back to her kitchen, finishes making dinner, and never says a single word about it to anyone. Not Joel, not Sadie, not even Maggie. Just keeps the potato peeler, puts it in her own drawer, and moves on with her life. Now here's the part that makes this story absolutely perfect. Riley never found out what Joel and Sadie thought happened to their potato peeler. Maybe they thought they lost it. Maybe they thought they left it somewhere. Maybe they bought a new one without even questioning it because, hey, if something goes missing, you can just replace it, right? The irony of that specific possibility, that they went out and replaced the very object that represented their whole just replace it philosophy, is genuinely, deeply, cosmically satisfying. They never suspected Riley. Why would they? She was the quiet neighbor they waved at in the parking lot. The girl who had moved on. The one who never made a big deal about anything. Except she had. In the quietest, most understated, most perfectly proportionate way possible, she had made a very big deal indeed. And they had absolutely no idea. 6 years pass. Riley still has the potato peeler. It lives in her kitchen drawer, completely functional, completely ordinary, completely unremarkable to anyone who might see it. But every time she reaches for it, Every time her hand closes around that plastic handle, she remembers. She remembers standing in that doorway. She remembers the dark, empty apartment. She remembers the weight of every dismissed request, every mocking laugh, every moment she was made to feel stupid for caring about something completely reasonable. And she remembers the quiet, clean, absolute satisfaction of taking back just a little piece of something that was owed to her. Not a dramatic gesture, not a public humiliation, not a screaming match or a burned bridge, or a scorched earth confrontation. Just a potato peeler. Just a reminder to herself, even if nobody else ever knew, that her needs were real, that her concerns were valid, that she was right all along. And sometimes that's enough. Sometimes that's everything. Y'all, I want to take a second here before we wrap up, because I've been sitting with this story, and I think it's hitting me harder than I expected. On paper, this is a story about a potato peeler. The revenge is small. Nothing blew up. Nobody got publicly humiliated. No dramatic confrontation. No viral moment. No satisfying footage of karma arriving in real time. Just a girl, an unlocked door, and a kitchen utensil. But here's why it lands so hard. Because most of us, at some point in our lives, have been Riley. We've been in situations where we asked for something completely reasonable and been dismissed. Where our concerns were treated like inconveniences. Where the people around us, whether through selfishness or obliviousness or just plain not caring, made us feel like our needs didn't matter. And most of the time, we don't get a movie moment. We don't get a dramatic revenge arc. We don't get the public vindication or the perfect speech or the moment where everyone finally sees that we were right. Most of the time, we just move on. Swallow it. Keep the peace. Let it go. But Riley got her moment. Small as it was, she got it. She walked through a door that should have been locked. A door that was unlocked because of the exact same carelessness she had spent months fighting against. And she took back just a tiny sliver of what that carelessness had cost her. Not in money, not in property, in dignity, in the simple, quiet, profound validation of being proven right. And she carried that with her for 6 years. Probably longer. That potato peeler isn't just a potato peeler. It's evidence. Evidence that she was never crazy. Never paranoid. Never overreacting. She was right. She was always right. And now she has the receipts. Sometimes the smallest revenge is the one that means the most. Because it's not about what you took. It's about what you finally gave back to yourself. Reflective wrap-up. You know what I keep coming back to with this story? The fact that Riley never told them. Never rubbed it in. Never sent a text 6 years later going, "Hey, by the way, remember your potato peeler?" She just kept it. Quietly. Privately. As her own personal reminder that she was right. She was always right. And karma has a way of creating opportunities that justice doesn't always bother to announce in advance. Some people need the confrontation. Some people need the big moment. Riley just needed the potato peeler. And honestly, I respect that more than almost any other kind of revenge I've ever heard of. Lock your doors, people. You never know who's got a recipe that needs finishing. End of the story. Wow. If this story had you nodding your head and thinking of every person who ever dismissed your completely reasonable concerns, bro, you know what to do. Smash that like button right now. And drop a comment. I genuinely want to know, what is the pettiest, most satisfying, most perfectly proportionate revenge you have ever pulled off or witnessed? Because I have a feeling the comments on this one are going to be legendary. And listen, if you are not yet subscribed to American Sleep Tales, bro, what are you waiting for? We upload 2 brand new stories every single day. Revenge stories, karma moments, wild roommate drama, relationship chaos. All of it every single day, right here on this channel. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. And we will see you tomorrow, because we'll have 2 more stories waiting for you. Stay smart. Lock your doors. And remember, karma always finds the unlocked ones.